the head of developer relations for this organisation, a gentleman by the name of Nick Gonzalez. Hopefully we'll be able to maintain a good quality line like we have at the moment. And then 10 minutes time I might just interrupt you and then ask for questions from the floor. So thanks, Nick.
Okay, great. So first of all, I guess, as Craig said, I'm Nick Gonzalez with social media. I'm doing developer relations and basically publisher relations, since our developers are publishers when they start monetizing with social media. My background was originally from TechCrunch.com, a blog that covers technology startups, across the world and all the kind of innovation that's going on the web right now. So if you guys have any questions about that, I'm free to answer. But what social media is a way to help developers like you guys monetize your applications on social networks. That's right now Facebook and Bebo, and soon MySpace once that ball gets rolling. But the bigger goal of social media is to create the most effective advertising model for social networks. We have a very solid base of publishers right now, and we're really helping them monetize those applications that they've developed for Facebook's user base, but we think that there's a lot more potential that we can unlock from social networks purely because of the way that people are interacting on them. I think that we're the best method of monetizing Facebook applications and Bebo applications right now. It's a much better option than AdSense, but there's a growing ecosystem of advertisers in the space right now. We're backed by CRV. We have some large investors, including Jeff Clavier, who invested in Truvio, Mark Andreessen, as you guys might know from Ning if you're following the overall space. And I guess probably what you guys are interested in is how do you guys create an application, grow an application, and monetize an application. Now, typically, I've been in this business directly for probably about 3 weeks right now. I've spoken to some developers and learned a little bit more about the space than I had just when I was covering the overall tech landscape for it. I guess I would describe Facebook and platforms as kind of a microcosm of the web as a whole. Developers create applications similar to how somebody might create a blog on the web, except now they have an incredible access to Facebook or Bebo's user base. So that means developers can create properties faster than you can on the web at large, and they can also get access to users faster than they could on the web at large. You don't have to be stuck into doing search engine ranking, advertising on Google or something to drive traffic, and building a brand over months. Whereas now on Facebook or Bebo, if you have a really good app, you can build a brand over, build an application up over a matter of a week. I know that Stanford's application class had some experiences where developers were creating applications that pulled in 1 million users in a school quarter. And we've certainly had that experience with some of our developers. Generally, the way people tackle the problem is by not just focusing on developing one application, but by being like mini VCs and developing a portfolio of applications. Not every app that somebody designs succeeds, but the ones that do basically make up for all any of the failures that they have if you're a good app developer. Some of the apps I've seen are like quizzes, games are really hot right now, and messaging applications, things like poking, prodding, sending GIFs back and forth. So that's some of the taxonomy there. Some of our developers, our largest developers, are making or could make like $20,000 in a week, or you can make $3,000 in a month if you're doing it just part-time. I spoke to one developer named Ryan Merkett, who actually moved out from the Midwest in the United States to California purely because he enjoyed doing Facebook applications so much. He's now working for CBS. He's doing Facebook applications part-time and making about $3,000 a month. And he's monetizing using social media. He's also getting users through social media by advertising his application on other applications. There's some other guys from CLZ Concepts who have about 24 applications and they're making anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 a month. These are 3 master's students from Berkeley and Stanford that decided to focus on a portfolio of 24 Facebook applications instead of doing their traditional full-time jobs. So I'm focusing on the successes. Naturally, just like the web at large, there are going to be some people who are better at it, some people who are not, but the possibility for success is there for people who can understand the environment and develop effectively. I've noticed that just recent college grads have been a lot more successful at developing applications than large companies who don't quite understand the space, and that's been consistent throughout. Some of our best developers are, in the early 20s, and I expect that trend to continue some time until the market really matures and people start really understanding social media and how social networks work. Our promise to our developers is that wherever the market goes, we're going to help create the best value for publishers and advertisers and ensure that we're going to be competitive, if not better than any other options you have out there. If people want to sign up and monetize through social media, you just go to socialmedia.com/network and you can register. You can check out a blog at socialmedia.com/blog, where periodically we post updates about the company. I'm always available at nick@socialmedia.com for any questions you guys have. So, without further ado, I'd like to open it up and see what the crowd's interested in learning about.
Does anyone have any questions for Nick while we have him? We have a good line here, whether it be from the panel or from the group of attendees. Yep. A question from James Tuckerman. Nick. James is the founder of a Australian business magazine for fast growth. Over to you, James.
We were actually having a look at different apps to apply to create to grow our business. And when we were having a look at what's there, I'm talking about Facebook apps, we noticed that that even eBay had produced an app and it only attracted about it was about 3,000 run-ons.
Yeah.
I was wondering whether you had any advice on, are there any key tips or tools or things that you think are particularly viral right now that could help a small organization? $1 question, I know, but
Yep.
keen to hear your thoughts.
Hey, well, if I knew, I'd be developing the apps instead. Just joking. The suggestion I guess I would have is it needs to incentivize users to spread the app. I mean, that's the notion of enhancing the virality is just going to be by rewarding people. Like if by inviting more friends or by participating more in the application, you benefit and grow, your bank account that you have to spend on virtual goods within the economy. I know Davey Campano, one of our developers, created a handbag application, and he found that every day giving users more money every day was an effective way of keeping users. But he found that when he gave people more money for inviting more users onto the application, it started growing the user base at a faster rate than before. So, that's one good strategy for that. Also, just your value proposition to users needs to be really simple. Facebook applications haven't matured to the point of, this is my, Google apps within Facebook. It's not like a productivity suite that you're building inside of Facebook. I haven't seen that evolve and become successful. Maybe it's going to go that way, maybe not. It's still very early on, even though the platform's been around for a year. But people need to be able to understand what you're offering them within, about a sentence. Super poke, very simple. Graffiti, very simple idea. You understand it just by the name.